Okay, so I don't know how I missed this, but apparently there have been other rumors that have arisen for the Amex Platinum card over the last couple of weeks. I'm not sure how I missed it, but apparently outside of just the typical $895 annual fee, $600 FHR credit that's going to be split between $300 every 6 months in true typical Amex fashion, we also have some other credits that are now being rumored to be true, ones that we've been speculating on for a little bit of time, like the Resi credit, that being a $300 broader Resi credit, which it would, I'm assuming, end up being in a way just like the Sapphire Reserves, $150 every 6 months, which I think was going to be the most substantial rumor that is out there right now. It's something that people have been calling for months and months, honestly probably years now, since the Amex Gold card actually refreshed and got a Resi credit. I think that was like the most obvious change whatsoever, so that's definitely something I love seeing, and I think that's way better than the Sapphire Reserve Sapphire tables, at least for now as they're expanding the network, because Resi is just so plentiful. Even in my, well, maybe everywhere I'm now in Lake Como, Italy, there, I'm sure, are probably a lot of Resi restaurants I could go to, or all over throughout Italy, but definitely in my hometown of Greenville, South Carolina, there are a good amount of Resi restaurants to where we can use that. If it's $150 every 6 months, very easily use that credit and to offset that annual fee. And honestly, $150 is a good credit. You know, it's different than like just $10 or $50, every 6 months on the gold, which is great. But it's not exactly as powerful as $150, because most dinners, especially Resi restaurants that could be a little bit higher end, and you're going to get up to that range of, yeah, probably $100, a little bit more with drinks, steak dinner, burger, and stuff like that. So I do think that is a very substantial credit, and one that I really love to see, way better than any other typical, I don't know, dining credit out there. So I think that's great. Some other additional ones that I thought were pretty interesting was a broader $300 rideshare credit. So it's different than the Uber Cash. Again, I'm traveling, so I'm not reading into it amazingly, but from what I understand, it's going to be a broader rideshare credit, the rumor is. And to me, that just suggests that, well, we know in the credit card points of miles community that most people who end up using like the Uber credits and stuff like that, usually they're using it in the form of, like, obviously Uber Crash for getting, but using that for Uber Eats, so for food delivery services and whatnot, maybe between jobs and whatnot, which I think is great, and I think a lot of people use it for that, and maybe that's the reason they want to switch it to a broader rideshare credit instead. Because if it is going to be a rideshare credit, it might be more similar to that of what we've seen on like the Delta card suite lineup, where they have $10 every single month towards, what is it, like Revel, but I think Revel's actually like bankrupt now, or claiming bankruptcy, or just ending their services in certain areas, I forget. Uber, Lyft, and what have you. But as we know, we're not traveling all year round, or at least I would say a lot of people who have the platinum are not traveling all year round and using Ubers all year round. If you're like me, few big trips every single year. Like here, I actually could use an Uber credit right now. If I had like $150, I could easily book this Uber I'm about to get to Lugano from Lake Como here. It's about a €70 trip. So if I had like $100 in rideshare credits, I could use that right now amazingly. And it would mean a lot more to me than just a typical $10 rideshare credit. But what it means to me is, one, if you're traveling and if it is going to be like a $150 every 6 months, I think that's way more usable than a standard, $10 rideshare credit every single month, because it's not necessarily easily something you could stack and kind of, I know there's ways to kind of do that with Lyft credits and somehow, but for most people, you're using an Uber ride and $10 is covering like half the trip if it's like a 10-minute, 20-minute trip, something like, depending where you are. So if you have a credit that's now $150, like again, in my situation here, I need to take an Uber in like 20 minutes to Lugano, which is a 25-minute drive and an $80 USD Uber. I could easily use the credit on this 100% and use it in one fell swoop. But the other interesting thing to me is, like, okay, we know everybody in the community uses Uber Eats as for restaurants all throughout the year. So that means less breakage for the companies, right? More people are actually end up using that credit all throughout the year, because it's so easy to get Uber Cash and get some food and what have you in between time. So maybe Amex just says like, well, we'll give them a broader rideshare credit that, in one case, I think it is easier to use, but in another way, I guess for all the people that aren't traveling as much as they think they are, who have a platinum card, they would end up never actually able to use that rideshare credit, because maybe they're not traveling enough, or maybe they go to a place that rents a car, so they don't need Uber, and what have you. So maybe that'll lead to more breakage and more people not using the credit whatsoever. So it would be interesting to see if American Express is thinking of it in that way, as a general ride share. So this way, maybe they've estimated that less people would end up using the credit, because maybe people don't travel as much as they think. But I digress. I think it's largely positive if it is true, because it's something that would help me immensely right now. On top of that, so we had the FHR credit. We've talked about in other videos, but you guys know the deal. Basically, the main worry is it's a $600 credit, which is amazing. Its main worry is it going to be, well, one, it should be $300 every 6 months. I think that's what most people's consensus are nowadays. So that's good. But is it going to be on a 1-night minimum or a 2-night minimum, like the hotel collection? Because we know, I'll write to them in a second. Hotel's kicking us out. So we know with the FHR credit, we're wondering, because with the Sapphire Reserve, when they updated their card with the edit credit, there was a 2-night minimum for $500 total, $250 every 6 months. So I think we'll get $350 more every 6 months, because they got to beat the night. But it's probably going to be a 2-night minimum. If it's a 1-night minimum, I mean, that's amazing. That's so much more usable, and it's such an easy credit to use, especially with the benefits of FHR and that type of program, like hotel credits and breakfast, free breakfast vouchers and stuff like that. It's amazing. I would love to use it here. I'm at the Hilton Lake Como right now. I don't know if it's an FHR property, but if it was, you could probably get some good dinner here at the Terraza 241. It's a great view, but kind of expensive dinners up here. So, you're paying for the view mostly, from what I understand. On top of that, the last thing is a wellness credit of $300, which I thought was pretty interesting. I don't know necessarily what this is going to entail. I know on some other credit cards, like the Care credit card, or there's a few other credit cards that have some sort of like wellness credit. Usually what it encompasses, like maybe spa services or maybe something like gym memberships. Some people are estimating that it'd be like, I don't know, an Equinox credit is going to be combined into just a general wellness credit for, I don't know, like Peloton rides or Equinox fitness classes, or kind of like Built has those fitness classes. Who really knows? If it was a broader gym category where any gym that codes as a gym would code, that would be amazing, because my gym of like 20, 30, 40 a month, whatever it actually is, and I could pay on my platinum card and get that covered, that would be immensely amazing. Would that be too easy? Yeah. Probably a little bit too easy. I can't see that actually happening, but I think all in all, if you were to have a credit card that was an $895 annual fee, $600 total FHR credits, even if there's a 2-night minimum, factor in some overpricing. You have a $300 Resi credit, $300 wellness credit, that might be something, $240 rideshare credit instead of the Uber Cash. I don't know. I do think, and I still think there should be some sort of entertainment credit in there. It hasn't been a rumor yet, but I feel like there's got to be some sort of entertainment credit, so we'll see. Kind of like StubHub credit on the reserve. There's got to be something like that Amex could work in with their experiences. And then one other thing was the flight credit. We know we have the $200 airline incidental fee credit. People use it for cheap Delta flights, or they use it on United Travel Bank. Someone mentioned in the comments, or I read somewhere, someone said that it's supposed to be maybe general travel, so it might be similar to the Hilton Aspire card, where it's like $50, I could pay for an American Airlines flight, $50 will come back to me in the form of statement credit. I don't know if that's a thing. I think that would be very largely popular, and it would make sense with all of the other refreshes. Like the Hilton refresh gave us the flight credit, right? They gave us that ability to have a flight credit like that. We also got a hotel credit that it ended up going on the business platinum card, right? The $200 Hilton hotel credit that might come on the personal platinum as well. The Delta cards revamped, that we had the rideshare credit instead of like Uber Cash and what have you. So, and then the Amex Gold card had the Resi credit. So I think everything lines up to what Amex has already done on these refreshes over the last couple of years. So I definitely think that it is extremely likely that all these credits that are rumored to be true are probably true, because they just fall in line with what Amex has already done over the last couple of years. It's like, follow the past, we'll tell you the future, at least for American Express, I would say, because they're on this 4-year cycle. So we'll see if the card's going to be worth it at the end of the day. Will I be rushing out to getting it? Probably not, maybe not, we'll see. I do think it'll be fairly interesting, however, and especially if you can somehow bypass lifetime language and get a new welcome offer, kind of like what Sapphire Reserve's doing right now. And are new applicants going to get the benefits, or are we going to have to wait 6 months like the Sapphire Reserve? Who really knows? But who knows? I'm gonna go now to Lugano and take that Uber ride over to the Switzerland side over here. So bye bye, and greetings from Lake Como, Italy. Take care, guys. Bye bye.